All right. So as a lot of people know, when you get pregnant or once you have a baby, you accumulate a lot of stuff. Now, a lot of the stuff that you buy or you receive as gifts or get handed down to you are not really necessities, but baby items are so stinking cute that you just can't help yourself. You want to get everything out there that's on the market. And that poses the problem of where are you going to put it, where you're going to store it. So I'm looking now at a sonogram photo of the baby when I was about 4 months, when I found out the sex. And about a month after that is when I started really looking and researching and thinking about what I wanted to buy. I was on Amazon almost every day, and I would check prices at the store and kind of just made my list of everything that I wanted. Now, when you're a first-time mom, you usually want to get everything. But since he was my fourth baby, I kind of knew what worked for me, what I wanted, and what I definitely didn't want. But that didn't stop me from wanting to get a lot of the stuff that I saw, especially things that weren't around when I had my first 3 kids. But, you know, I really had to hunker down and decide, okay, what do I need? What do I want? And kind of go from there, because I, like many people, I had to face the issues of storage. So unless you live in a mansion or a mini mansion, you know, you have to figure out where you're going to put all the baby stuff that you're going to get. And for us, we don't live in a big house. But we were lucky enough that we had 2 extra rooms that weren't bedrooms so that I could use those if need be. And I ended up having to use one. So what I did was, one of the rooms was an office, and I've already kind of gave a tour of the baby's nursery, which was the office. So when I was pregnant, or before I was pregnant, the office was really used all the time as an office, especially when we were using our desktop computer. But after I got pregnant, the office just kind of became a junk storage space because we weren't using our desktop computer anymore. And it just became a dead space. And the other room we had was solely dedicated to a toy room. And the toy room was becoming an issue for me because as the kids got older, I put more of their toys in their room to kind of free up space in the toy room. So when I was faced with the problems of where am I going to put all the baby stuff, how am I going to store the stuff, I decided to make the nursery, put the nursery in the office, and that really solved a lot of my storage problem ideas because I could put a lot of his things in his bedroom. And then what I did was I just reorganized and kind of sorted things out, gave away things that were underused or we didn't want anymore, and combined the toy room and the office together. And so now that's the all-purpose room. And so that's what we did, and that's how this space is working for us right now. So I've already showed the baby's nursery, and I've showed where I store like his blankets and his clothes and his diapers and his toys and, you know, all those other little things or all his necessities. So I wanted to show where I store all the other items around the house. I had to get creative, and I had to kind of use the space creatively as I saw fit. So here we go. So this is in my bedroom. This is the baby's pack and play. We have taken off the bassinet portion, and we don't use the changing table portion anymore. But this is where we're storing his pack and play. It's right next to our bed, and it just has a couple of his little stuffed animals and some little, in this little plastic bin, a couple more stuffed animals and some like baby toys, keys and rattles and things like that. So that's where this is. And unfortunately, the baby doesn't really sleep in this, and he doesn't really even like playing in this for more than, 5-10 minutes. But it's convenient. It's right near the bed. So hopefully as he gets older and a little bit more independent, he'll appreciate this a little bit more than how he appreciates it now. So this is where we're storing his pack and play, which is in my bedroom. And this is where, this is dark. This is where I've already showed where we're storing the baby's bathtub and his bath toys, which are in my bathroom. This is the beginning of the hallway, and this is where I'm storing the baby's like bigger toys, I guess. These are just two of his toys that he has right here for now. Eventually, I think they'll go outside, but I just have them here for now because it's convenient. This walker, he doesn't really use it for walking yet because he's still unsteady. He's not really walking, and he pushes it too fast, so it's a little bit too dangerous. So I think once he's actually taking steps on his own and he's able to walk a little bit more unassisted, this will work better for him. But he does go up to it and play with all the toys on that. So this is the kitchen, and this is where we're storing his high chair. Now, I don't have a big kitchen. I think it's a tiny kitchen. And like I said, I don't have a big house. I think my house, if I wanted to guess, it's probably a little over 1,500 square feet. Definitely less than 2,000. So I got this high chair because it's on wheels, and that means that I can push it to whichever portion of the house that I need to use it in. It usually stays here in the kitchen. I can fold it up, but I've never done that. I just like the convenience of having it ready whenever I need it. So that's where we're storing his, this is where we keep his high chair. And then in this drawer right here, I actually have his bottle brush that I never opened because he never really took a bottle. And the bottles that he did take 1 or 2 times, they had liners. So I never really needed a bottle brush. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use this for his sippy cups or not. If I don't use it, I'll just regift it. But I just have it stored in this drawer right here for now until I need it. And over here, next to the sink, I have the bottle drying rack, and I just have a couple of sippy cups, his plate, and his spoons on here. This is where I keep all his little utensils and eating meal items. And it's really convenient right next to the sink so that when I wash them, I just put them right here to dry. And then in the living room is the toy store. Is where I keep the majority of his bigger type items. So yes, I have my travel system in my living room, and I know it takes up space, but it's really convenient where it is. I could put it outside in the carport, but I just didn't want it getting dusty, especially when he was a baby. I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I just have it here. And I think eventually I will put it outside, especially now that the novelty of having this travel system has kind of worn off. It's not new anymore. It's been over a year. So I don't mind if it gets a little dusty and a little, cruddy or whatever. It's going to be used. So eventually it will be displaced and put outside to free up more room in here. But for now, it's sitting right there. And then we have his swing, which is right here in this little corner, which is perfect. He doesn't really use this anymore. He still could use it. And once in a blue moon, I might put him in it. But again, once he gets older and he outgrows a lot of this stuff, they're going to be moved out and made to make room for, other items. Because my living room right now, the way it's set up, I had to set it up the way it is so that I could make room for all of his stuff. So eventually I'd like my living room back. This is his exerciser, which we still use. He doesn't really like being in it as much anymore because now he's mobile and he likes to just crawl around. But he gets into trouble when he's on the floor. So if I need to do something and I can't watch him closely, I put him in this. And it's right here in the living room where it's closed and I can watch him from the kitchen or if I'm, doing chores or whatever. And of course we have his activity table right there and his little bouncy seat that he never uses anymore because he hates being strapped in. Like I said, he's mobile now. He likes to, crawl around. And so he doesn't really like being in that chair anymore. But he lived in that thing for the first 6 months of his life. So well worth the money. But I just have it there for now, and I keep a couple of his little stuffies on there. And he likes to play with these toys. Like he takes them off and he plays with them. So he still uses the chair although it's just to play with the toys. And then I'm outside. This is my carport. The toys that are out here are not specifically toys that I bought for the baby. They're just toys that are going to be handed down to him from his older siblings. So I have another walker right here that used to belong to my 6-year-old, and it's just out here for when the baby is out here and he wants to play. Once he's a little bit more in control of like walking. Then we have this little basketball hoop and this little shopping cart, which my kids still use, by the way, but eventually it's going to go to the baby. And then this little kitchen that my kids also still use, but it's eventually going to go to the baby because they're getting older and they're kind of outgrowing a lot of this stuff. And then over here by the side of the house, we have 2 of these cars, the pedal car and this little Fisher-Price, I think, little buggy. You push it with your feet. And he's a little too young for these. He's actually been in this one a couple times and he loves it. So eventually, once he can reach the ground and like push a little bit, he'll be using this. And then this will go, this will be passed down to him as well once he's old enough to use it. So this is where these are being stored right now, outside by the side of the house. And then last but not least, I'm in the kids' bathroom and I have his toothbrush here. This is where I store his toothbrush, or in here with the other toothbrushes. And then, of course, the medicine cabinet where I store the majority of his medicine. And that's the baby stuff storage that I have in my house, how I store the items that I have for the baby and how I made room for the baby in our house.